Alright, good afternoon. This video is going to be a little bit different today, or this week should I say, because I'm not going to get it all done this afternoon. But right here is a 60 litre fuel tank to go under my floor in my boat. This is from santmarine.com.au, S-A-N-T, marine. It's a 60 litre tank designed for the Quintrex Renegades or Stesco Renegades. I've also got the full hose kit and filler kit that comes with the fuel lines, breathers, filler caps, everything you need, hose clamps, and you can order that with the fuel tank as well. All up, including freight and everything, it was $1,006 delivered to my door. And I've seen quite a lot of posts on Quintrex pages and Renegade owners pages about people looking at bigger tanks for their Renegades. Mainly the 420s, because they only come with the 25 litre tank down in that back corner. And my plan is to put the fuel tank under the floor, 60 litres, so I no longer have to carry jerry cans on the bigger trips. Obviously I'll still probably take a jerry can or two when I go camping for a few days in a row, but other than that, when I'm doing bigger trips like offshore or out through the Cape or even big sessions in the bay, I'll no longer need a jerry can. And also that compartment over there where the fuel tank currently is, I will be running that as like a battery storage box, because I'll be linking up a lithium battery to run as a house battery, which will run all my sounders, my lights, transom light and things like that. I'll probably keep the bilge pump and stuff hooked up to my cranking battery, but all the accessories are going to be running off a house battery. So yeah, I thought I'd film the whole lot and make a video out of it, since it's a fairly common question to be asked, and it seems like quite a lot of people are after that larger fuel tank in these 420 Renegades. So first step, obviously, get yourself a drill with a Phillips head bit. I'm about to jump in, and it's time to lift the floor up. From my understanding, the fuel tank will run pretty much across here, and yeah, we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm going to clip yous up onto the roof, and we'll film the whole process. Let's go. Getting this up is going to be a little bit difficult, I think. I might just grab myself a hammer and a chisel just to try to pry. Hammer and a chisel, or maybe even a flathead screwdriver. Try to wedge it in, see if I can lift the floor up that way. center strip up. Now get in this screw. It's going to be quite painful. I think I've just popped it through the timber. Beautiful. So what I did, just punched the head of the screw through the actual timber board. I will come back with a grinder. As you can see, that's where the head of the screw snapped off. So I'll grind that off. And there'll be one under there now that I've just punched through the timber board. And yeah, I'll cut that off as well. Just drill a new hole, new screw when I put it back in. I might actually get a marker and just mark where the board landed, just so I know that it's as far over as I can get it, just to be sure. So I'll quickly jump out and grab a marker and mark that. Not the worst of things, but if I've got the floor up, I may as well give it a clean, I think. So I'm gonna have to get all this foam out, tow the boat outside, get the gurney in here. Yeah, it's quite gross. So what I might do, there's one. Alright, that is a lot cleaner. Quite happy with that. Obviously it's not fully clean. Took it for a lap around the block to try to drain as much water out as I could. And I've just lifted the jockey wheel up as high as I can. But compared to what it was, I'm quite happy with that. Just about ready to throw the tank in and see how it fits. I'm going to be bringing it up this side. I'll drill a hole through the bottom of my gunnel pocket, have the filler probably just here, I'd say. Obviously I'll have to undo my wiring under there. Hole through here, hose coming up, hole here, I think it's 50 mil. I'll tell you exactly when I get to that stage though. Filler, and then I dare say my breathers are going to be through here somewhere. Maybe I might even run them down the back so they're in line with that drain hole, with my bilge hole, sorry. Run it down that so it looks nice and neat. But first stage, floor out, hull clean. Quite happy with that, and I think I'll continue tomorrow. Okay, well, if you do order one of these tanks and you see these splits, they look like splits, do not freak out like I did. They are for the baffles, and it is still a sealed tank. I read through this and it explains that it will look like it's split, but it's not. I'll still pressure test the tank before I put it in, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead now. I might just dry fit the tank just to see how it's gonna fit, see how much foam I need, because it also explains, being a poly tank, you do have to allow for expansion after the first fill, and that expansion will not shrink again. So don't pack it tight with foam. You need to allow a little bit of room for expansion. So I'm going to drop it in and see exactly how much foam I'm going to need around it and stuff. And yeah, I think tomorrow, because it's about, it's 9:05 right now, I think tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night I might start fitting the hoses to the tank. And then over the weekend I'll be drilling the holes for the filler and the breathers. Alright, well, let's drop this tank in anyway. Well, that's a bit of a speed bump. That is definitely not going to fit. Alright, I don't know if all 420s are going to be like that. It's almost like the C channel in the middle. If they had to put the C channels the opposite way, as you can see, it's about 20 mil over both sides. So what I'm going to have to do, I've marked it on both sides, I'm gonna have to rip about 20 mil off both C channels. If they were both around the other way and it was the flush side there, then I'd be all good. But being C channels, I'm literally going to have to cut those C channels in half. So that's something I definitely did not account for. But that's that's not good for the tank either. But I'm definitely going to have to yeah, cut those before I can fit the tank. Alright, well, I'll catch back up with you tomorrow, and hopefully I'll either cut them tomorrow or over the weekend. Spewing. Alright, so today is Saturday. I've ripped out the foam again of the back end of the boat. I'm going to start grinding those C channels in half, and then I'm going to have to wash it out again just to try to get whatever swarf is inside out of the boat. I know it's only aluminium, but I'd still rather not have any of that in the boat. It'll fit after this bloody bodgy grinder, but this is actually beeswax. If you run your grinder blade through it, cuts through the aluminium a lot easier than without it. You could use this or a different type of cutting agent, but yeah, I find beeswax nice and easy. Safety glasses. Alright, so we've got about a 54mm hole in the top, and I've ovaled the hole through the bottom. Obviously fuel line, the filler line, 2 breather lines, and the fuel line is going to be coming through here, hence why it's an oval. I've vacuumed all the swarf up, held a vacuum under it while I was drilling it out, filed the edges so they're nice, and yeah, just about ready to drop the tank in. I've got some spare sea deck, so I'm going to put some sea deck over this channel just to save any rubbing, and yeah, we should be good to go. I'm going to put conduit around that just to save the hose, and then we'll start running it all. Beautiful.
Because
This is where we're going to be punching the breathers through. Should be sweet, huh? Yeah. It should help if I turn the vacuum on, eh? double hose clamps on everything, breathers, fuel line, filler line, on both the top and the tank. So they give you enough in that hose kit. Now getting up and under there is going to be the fun bit. I'll just put that little ratchet. That's filler, breather, fuel line, breather. Almost there. Filler. Fuel line's going to run back to that. We're going to trim it up, but we just did it for a test fit. And then just wire up the sender up to my gauge. I think we're good to go. Woo. Tank in. Press the floor, drop back in. As you can see, I notched out for the hoses. They run up. Filler. We'll hook up that sender cable and screw this floor down. Up it goes. We got the floor back in, just tidying up all the wires and the plumbing. Benny's under there, just hooking up the sender level now, so it shows on my gauges. I'll show you once it's all powered up. And yeah, I'm just finishing to wiring up the fuel line. That goes to the fuel filter, and that's pretty much that done. The install of a 60 litre tank in a Quintrex 420 Renegade. Not too hard. It's all pretty straightforward. Bit of fiddling around, but yeah. And what wires were the fuel reading ones coming off the back of the thing?
You'll have a black and pink. That'll go to your pink wire on the sender. and then black to black.
Yep. So off the back of your gauge, if you have these Yamaha gauges and you don't have a fuel tank already hooked up to it, there'll be a pink and a black wire, and you want to send your red wire off your tank to the pink and your black wire off the tank to the black, and that will show you your fuel gauge. We just tipped 20 litres into the tank, tested it, it come up just under half a tank, which is perfect. 60 litre tank.
Yeah, switch it on now if you want to.
Oh yeah, I'll switch it all on now. See, showing just under half a tank on the fuel, so that's perfect. And yeah, just again, oval hole through the pocket to fit all your hoses and cable. You'd probably want a 54mm hole for your filler, and probably a 22mm hole for your breathers. I've gone a 25 because that was all I had. Still works fine. And another key thing was, in that hose kit we were provided, it only gave us 1.5 meters of 10mm fuel hose. So we got an extra 4-meter hose from BCF, cost about $40, and that way I could run it up through the floor, along my gunnel, and to the filter. And I probably had about a metre spare, but always better to have some left over than not enough. Other than that, that's pretty much it done. I've finished screwing the floor down. We'll tidy up the wires under my dash again, and that's job complete. As easy as that. Alright, well yeah, I know that was a bit of a different video this time, but quite a lot of people that I see on the Quintrex pages and things like that are always looking at getting a bigger tank for their Renegades, either 420, usually most of the case, because they only come with the 25 litre tank. So that was hopefully a full walkthrough of the ins and outs about installing your own 60 litre tank, and it was from Sant Marine. The hose kit came from Sant Marine. But obviously, as I spoke about earlier, you do need to get a few extra things, like a longer fuel line I had to get. And also cutting the C channels down was another big speed bump that I wasn't expecting. Not too bad, doesn't take out any of the integrity of the deck. And another thing I did have to do was some of the screws in the floor, they do land where you install the tank, so I've rearranged a couple of screws just to get it fully screwed down again, but obviously nowhere near the fuel tank. Got the gauges working, and now that opens up the whole rear deck for storage. I will be wiring up a house lithium battery in there. I just didn't get around to it yesterday. Just ran out of time really. But yeah, hopefully this video gives people the information they need and shows people how to do it, and then you'll be able to install your own tank in your own Renegade. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.